Chaotic Harmony, unfiltered with Keith and Amy. 2 mics, 1 marriage, all the chaos.
Welcome to Chaotic Harmony.
Take two. Jeez. So that was fun. So we got the rough draft of episode 1 finished and done in the books, and
You had to go and delete it.
yeah, it's an accident. Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. The whole thing was flipped upside down and said save or delete draft, and I was just going too quick and hit the delete button, and it was gone. Nowhere to be found. So here we are, round 2.
So I say everything happens for a reason. So there was maybe a reason why it got deleted. So we're going to try it again.
We'll try it again. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode 1.
Just a little intro.
Yeah, who we are,
What to expect.
What to expect. Yeah, that's a big one, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So hopefully you stick around for all the other episodes after episode 1. So we are Keith and Amy, of course. You got that from the trailer. A little bit about me. So I grew up in Mineral Wells. First 18 years of my life, I joined the Army straight after there. 2 combat deployments. So veteran, personal trainer, dreamer. What else?
A dad,
A dad,
a husband, a friend, a brother.
a brother. You know,
A little bit of everything.
a little bit of everything. But we're just trying to find out who I am.
You're the
Who we are.
chaotic one. I call him one.
I am calm in the chaos.
Okay, that's a true statement.
You are chaotic in the calm. You can't sit. You can't sit still and be fine. You always got to be go, 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 go. Me, on the other hand, when it's chaotic, I'm cool.
I guess it's true.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So that's me. And of course, this is Amy. I'm going to let her talk now.
I'm Amy. Let's see. I'm very structured. Probably have some OCD tendencies. Love my routine. I'm a mom. I feel like that's been my place the last 18 years, 22 years really.
22.
Yeah. But our youngest one just graduated, so now it's like, who am I? I mean, I like to work out, but
Fitspo.
yeah.
She's a Fitspo.
But very structured, very routine. I have lived in this area pretty much my whole life, except for the year we were down in Fort Hood before he deployed.
Yeah. Kind.
Yeah. So that's pretty much who I am. I'm sure there's more to me. It's just when you're put on the spot, it's like, wait, who am I really?
Yeah. So, just like we said in the trailer, there's no script. So a lot of this stuff is going to be off the cuff, which I think is going to make it good.
Yeah.
We're going to have some good talking points. We're going to have some good stories to tell. Some fun laughs, some trials that we've been through, some
Ups and downs.
lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of in-betweens, lots of times where we're just coasting through life. We've been talking about this podcast for 4 years, I think, really trying to just plan it out, and it's finally here.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them, kind of where the idea came from?
Back in 2021, actually, it was probably towards the end of 2020, I just turned 40, and I was kind of like, I feel like I need something more. I feel like I need more. I wasn't sure what it was. Call it a midlife crisis. I don't know, because I hit 40 and I was like, what else can I do? I know there's more to me than just work and being a mom. And then I also got back on the fitness train when he became a personal trainer. And then in 2021, I did 75 hard, I think 3 times that year. 2 times were back to back. So 150 days of doing 75 hard. There's also phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I don't think I've ever done phase 3. I've never done the full year of 75 hard, or what is it, live hard. I always have only done 75 hard and then phase 1. But in that phase 1, you have to visualize. And there was a couple of different visualizations that I did. And it was my dream car, which I thought would be a white Jeep with purple accents. But now I don't have that. I have a different dream car that I didn't know I wanted to be my dream car. Opening a gym. And then it was also like, hey, maybe we should do a podcast. I feel like people can relate to us because we have kids. We're busy. We both work. We have a lot of shit going on. So people can relate to us. They, the struggles between marriage and parenting and just life in general. And back then, all it was talk, because we were very busy with life. Our son played travel baseball, and so our weekends were always baseball. And so we just never had the time. And now that both of the kids are adults and we don't have busy weekends, we decided, hey, let's start a podcast. So a couple of weeks before our vacation this year, in June, Keith said, fuck it, let's do it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Well, he just kind of ran with it and started talking to his bestie, ChatGPT. And, on our way drive down to Galveston, we started talking more about it, of like, oh, what would the name be? What would we do? Where would we put our studio? All of that type of stuff. And then when we got back from vacation, he said, okay, let's do it. We're doing this. And so we had to think of a name and all of that. And we came up with Kaotic Harmony, on different things. We do our CAM, which is KAM, Keith and Amy McGowan, and he put that into ChatGPT, and it gave us 10 to 15 different names, and we narrowed it down to 7 names, and then we narrowed it down to 3, and then we came up with Kaotic Harmony, and we thought that's the best name for us, because
it's perfect for us.
Yeah, I don't think we could have done anything better. So that's how it started, and then we were like, okay, let's do it, and then today is our 23rd wedding anniversary. So we're like, let's record on our anniversary. And here we are today.
Here we are, take 2. Yeah. So, a little bit about kind of what to expect. We don't know. We don't know what you guys should expect. But we do know that we are going to keep it real. We're going to keep it authentic with us. It's always what you see is what you get. We've never been the type to put on a front for anybody, especially if you're in our inner circle. You see a little bit deeper into kind of who we are and how we act and how we do situations. But for the people on the outside, it's just a little bit more filtered down, a little bit more presentable to the outside world, I guess you'd really want to say.
100%.
Yeah, we're going to be authentic. We're going to be real, unfiltered. We're not professionals. We don't have any kind of idea like this is going to be a self-help podcast. This is going to be a podcast for motivation. There's nothing. There's no subject that we will not touch on. We've had a lot of conversations leading up to today, recording this podcast here. In some of the conversations, we're going to talk about love, personal growth. Because when we got married 23 years ago, I was 20, she was 21.
Technically, you were 19. It was a month before your 20th birthday.
Okay. I was 19. I was almost 20. But
I'm a cradle robber.
She is. She's my cougar. But we're not the same people. We're not the same people that we were when we met. We're not the same people that we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, we've changed, and just seeing each other grow and change is. There's a lot of stories behind it. There's a lot of arguments and apologies and forgiveness, grace, like everything, and with me trying to figure out what has been wrong with me, all these years after the deployments and everything. It's been a challenge, but we're overcoming that one now. I really feel really good about kind of where I'm at dealing with stuff. But that's going to be a later episode. So, we'll be talking love, growth, trauma, identity, self-identity,
Right.
As a couple, kind of mindset stuff, motivation, whatever. We'll talk about it, but this is not going to be that motivational podcast that's going to get you up and go work out for the day, or, get you to start eating right, or whatever the case may be. She's a fitness fanatic. I'm a trainer, but there's way more to us than just that.
We're also just hoping like our stories, our challenges, what we have been through, somebody can relate and maybe help them. Like you said, we have been through a lot of challenges. We don't typically air our dirty laundry out, but there might be some that unfortunately comes out, and some people might be shocked, and some people might be like, oh my gosh, because as he said, our close inner circle knows who we are and what we've been through. Outsiders, I feel like, probably look at us and be like, oh my gosh, they're so perfect. They don't ever fight. Even our kids, like, that's one thing that we've never done is fought in front of them. That's always been behind closed doors.
The big fights.
Yeah, the big fights.
The smaller ones, they've
Seen us get annoyed or irritated.
We've never really sheltered them from like arguments and stuff. Because like, let's face it, like
that's life.
Everybody is going to argue, and we felt like if we saw, if they never seen us argue, they're going to think, whenever they get into a relationship, well, my parents never argued, so there must be something wrong with this relationship, and that is definitely not the case, And honestly, I don't really think we shielded the kids from much life. They were definitely not sheltered growing up, and I really believe that by doing that for them, they've been able to grow into, the baby adults that they are.
I like that, baby adults.
The baby adults. Yeah, because at 18, when you turn 19, you're a 1-year-old adult. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're still a baby, you're still young, like you're just moving into adulthood. And I feel like people tell us all the time, oh, your kids are so great, so well behaved. And they're awesome kids.
We've been very blessed with our kids.
Definitely.
We have definitely been blessed. We've gone through our struggles and arguments and teenage stuff, but big picture overall, dang, we got lucky with those two.
We did. Yeah, they were definitely good kids.
And the good thing is they do 100% support this podcast, and we did tell them, hey, there might be stuff that we say that you might be embarrassed or you might not want people to know, and they seemed okay with it.
They seemed okay with
it,
until we launched
those episodes. And then
I can just hear them now, bro. What? Oh, that's Joey. That's Joey. If you didn't know. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. With the kids growing up and eventually gonna be moving out. We're not playing traveling baseball anymore. We don't have athletics anymore. We just needed something, to spend our time together. Every weekend, during the summer, all year long, really, every weekend we do something as a family. It's Amy and I in the stands watching Joey play, or, whatever the case may be. And now it's like, okay, so we don't have the baseball anymore. We don't have anything else. Like, let's do this thing. And that's kind of really where I really just took it and I just ran with it. I'm like, we got it. We got to have something. Like, don't get me wrong, I love relaxing. I love to be lazy. When I ain't got nothing to do, I would just melt my ass into the couch all day if I could. But, when there's stuff to do, like right now, getting this podcast launched, and we've been talking about it for 4 years, and then, that was it. I'm just like, you know what? We're doing this. She's on board. She's going to figure it out as we go. But I feel like if we just keep on talking, nothing's going to happen. Or it's going to happen eventually, but I'm ready to go right now, So here we are. Episode 1.
Gives us something to look forward to, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a person that likes to work on things or be like, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And so this has helped me be like, okay, we've got a podcast. I think he is more excited than me. I think I'm more nervous because it's hard for me to let people in. And now I'm going to let thousands of people in.
You're getting a little ambitious there, babe.
So, well, I'm just saying, okay.
Come on now. We've got like 45 followers on Instagram right now.
But eventually it could be thousands. I'm seeing it. But and either way, I'm still letting way more people in than I typically let in. Yeah. And so I think my guard is up a little bit, where he's more like, let's do it, I don't care. So it'll be an experience for me, learning to open up and be vulnerable, because it's hard for me to be vulnerable sometimes, but I'm here for it. Because honestly, being vulnerable, I do 100% think people can relate to me. Of being a mom and going to work every day and working out and just finding that balance between everything. That's what I've done the last 22 years. So,
yeah.
Or maybe not last 22, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
doing all the mom things.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to figure this out. So we talked a little bit about kind of what to expect is not to expect anything.
I don't think we have expectations.
We have no expectations.
Because we're just starting out. We have no clue what we're doing. We're just flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
And we're going with it. And we hope it's successful. We hope. There's a lot of hopes, but there's really no expectations on it.
So if you're sitting here hoping that it's going to be, a therapy session for you, or a highlight reel of what our life is, I'm here to tell you that's not what we're going to be doing. You know, like I said, we're just going to be having conversations about life. You know, it could just be a spur of the moment. Hey, let's talk about this, you know, and it might be on a Friday and we were going to record on a Saturday or a Sunday. And, you know, we just changed the whole episode, you know, like we have no idea what's going to happen. But what you can really expect, we're going to be honest, to be, well, we're going to think we're funny. If you think we're funny, that's great. If not, that's fine too. You know, we're not everybody's cup of tea, you know. You know, we'll talk about, like I said, we'll talk about traumas. We'll talk about how we've healed from those traumas, how we've made it through tough situations, how we've grown as individuals, and how we've grown as, you know, a married couple. Because I really feel like that's an important piece of the marriage is you each have your own individuality. Right. So Amy is Amy, and, you know, she's got her things that she likes to do. Love Island, you know, all those trash TV shows like that. She absolutely loves that stuff. Me, not so much. Well, I sit there and scroll on my phone or talk to my bestie, ChatGPT, while she's watching these episodes. Of course, because, you know, we're going to be in the same room. We're going to spend time together. And me, I like to do my own thing too. You know, I like to watch my type of shows on Netflix. And, you know, she'll reciprocate the same thing. She'll just sit there in the living room with me scrolling on her TV while I'm watching my show. You know, but individuals come together and grow together in that marriage. All right. So we're going to wrap this thing up. Take 3.
Learning.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Hopefully it doesn't suck when we get this thing
All together.
published. Yeah. Thank you guys. We appreciate you listening in. You know, as we grow, you know, I hope you get a lot of good information. Maybe not information, but, you know, stories, you know, something that you can relate to. You know, maybe we can help you, you know, figure out how to get through some issues that you guys are having. And then maybe not. Maybe you're just here along for the ride, along with the entertainment. And that's fine too. Like I said, we do appreciate you listening to us. If you want to subscribe to us, you can. We are on all the major podcast apps, Spotify. We've got Apple Podcasts. We've got Amazon Music. Those are the big 3. And there's several. I think there's like 10 or 12 different little apps that we're all published on now. So subscribe there. Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Official. Go follow us there. That's right.
Us.
Yes. DM us all the questions. Let us know how you felt about this show. Good, neutral, critical. Yeah, whatever. Like, just let us know. You know, we're going to be open and honest with you guys. Constructive criticism. If you
That's what I was. Yeah.
criticism, let us know. Positive feedback, constructive criticism, or if it's neutral, it doesn't matter. Just let us know. We want all of our 47 followers to feel heard and appreciated. You know, it's going to be a good time. But like I said, thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram and then follow us on all of your podcast streaming apps. I do have one question for you guys before you go. You know, since this is just kind of like scary that we said yes to it, like what's something that you've done in your life that, you know, was a little scary or, you know, that just sounded absolutely crazy, but you said yes to do it anyway. Tell us what it was. Tell us how you handled it. Tell us the outcome of it. You know, we may use that story coming up, or we may not. It's you know, whatever you feel like doing. So the next episode, I think we're going to be talking about pet peeves. So mine, perfect. Okay, perfectly imperfect. We'll say that one. But yeah, so we're going to go. We got pet peeves coming up in episode 2. You know what? Like I said, hit me up with that answer to the question. What did you say yes to? That was absolutely crazy, but you did it anyway. And if you got some pet peeves on your significant other or your boyfriend or girlfriend, send them in the DMs too. I love to hear from you guys. But until next time, I'm Keith.
And I'm Amy.
And we are Chaotic Harmony. Y'all have a great week.
Bye.